as I bring my next guest up, Kenni Burns, running backs coach for the Gophers. Nothing heavier in Gopher football history than running backs, but Gopher football, Big Ten football, you run the ball to win games. You run the ball to sustain and keep the ball on your side, and don't give it back to the defense too quick. Well, this is the guy that gets it done. Kenni Burns, thank you for joining the Ron Johnson Show. Kenni, I want to just jump out there, man. Like when you look at the Gopher history, from Glenn Mason to Kill, all these other coaches, and now you bring in PJ Fleck, and people really didn't understand roll the boat, but now after a few years, you can tell that the negativity has calmed down because people really understand. Okay, you know what? It's just a way of life. What does roll the boat mean to you?
You know what? That's a great question. And row the boat, I've been with Coach now for several years, and it's a never give up lifestyle, and I love it. And it's one reason why I continue to work for Coach, because I think there's so much positivity that's built inside of it. But not only that, I've been able to see our young men kind of grow through the row the boat culture, and I think that's one of the coolest things that's out there, because it gives them this idea that things are going to happen in my life, good, bad, or good and hard, and whatever you do, just keep your oar in the water and keep rowing. And the main values of it is when you're rowing a boat, you can't see really the future. All you can do is learn from your past and row in the present. And I think the idea of it is just phenomenal. And if I've got kids, I want my kids to think that way. That there's nothing out there that they can't get through. When you think of the core values of it, there's three parts to it, right? There's the oar, that's the energy that you bring into your life. But we all want to have positive energy and constantly be positive and affect people in the right way. And then there's the boat, which is the sacrifice and, serving and giving to others, makes your boat bigger and more able to hold more people. And then the last part's the compass, surrounding yourself with elite people. And we all know that people are the what makes things go, having the right people. So for me, it's a great never give up lifestyle, and it's one that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. And I'm just really blessed to be a part of it and be a part of what Coach Fleck is doing here.
And I was a part of a team. I'm old now. Forget the year 2000. I think we had a chance to beat Ohio State at Ohio State. Hadn't done it in 49 years. The Gophers were on the precipice. They were right there. You guys are right there. Had Ohio State on the ropes, and then Mo Ibrahim goes down with an Achilles injury. A lot of people thought he would leave, and then you see the Michael Jordan, I'm back. With Mo Ibrahim coming back, what does that mean not only to the team, but to that, or not only to the running back room, but that team?
I think Mo is, I wouldn't say him and several other players are kind of the heartbeat of our team. And you talk about the energy of a football team. He has that. And I think him coming back is going to bring another boost of energy to our football team. Mo has done a phenomenal job of just simply every single day since he's gotten hurt is just changing his best. Mm-hmm. He hasn't put a timeline when he wanted to get back. He hadn't put a timeline on his training. He just said every day I just want to get a little bit better than I was the day before. That's something that Coach Fleck always preaches, and Mo has kind of took it and ran with it. And now you're starting to see him come back to Mo form. And that's a credit, honestly, to our trainers, Sip and Joe. I think they did a phenomenal job giving him kind of a game plan to get him back, and he's kind of taken and ran with it. The one cool thing I'll say about Mo is last year a lot of guys could, when they get hurt, they could go and soak a little bit. I think you saw Mo become a heck of a leader, and he helped those young guys get ready to play. He took his role and kind of transformed it and took the lens from a coaching standpoint, and I think that's going to help him in the future when he comes back and he's playing next year.
And when you look at his growth, there's a guy that played behind a lot of good running backs, and he waited his time, where a lot of players don't have that. They want to hit the transfer portal because they're like, look, I can. And he could have been a star somewhere else. Sure. But he stuck it out, and it's paying off for him. How have you seen him grow?
I think that he would tell you that some of the biggest credit that he gives is to Rodney Smith and Shannon Brooks. I think when he was a young back, those guys kind of took him under his wings and showed him kind of the way. And I think Mo understood that, there's a lot of good things going on here that are bigger than football. And it's something I want to be a part of, and something I can help change over my time here. And I think that's what makes Mo. Mo has never made it about himself. It's always been about other people, about his team, about his teammates, and doing it for them. So when those opportunities might have presented themselves for him to go somewhere else, I think Mo looked at his team and said, I'm part of this team, and I'm part of this brotherhood that's here, and I'm part of this roll the boat culture, and I just want to give to that. And I think that's what makes Mo very, very special. And I think it's going to help him throughout his whole life, being a team player and being able to lead people. And Coach Fleck always makes a comment that if most, if I'm buying stock whatever he's in, and I'm kind of the same way. After Coach Fleck, I'm right there too, buying stock in him, because whatever this young man does, he's going to be successful in it. And it's because of his core values and what he believes in and the people that he surrounds himself with.
Yeah, when I look at interviews and I look at just life, I feel like, having you on the show, Yuki Dozier, it's kind of a God moment for me. And the reason I say that is because I didn't plan to have Yuki Dozier on to talk about Marion Barber. Yuki was already scheduled. And then Marion Barber, we found out he passed away. And so we just went with the energy, kept the stories going. Same with you, like I've talked to Rovnak before about having Fleck on and having you on. And then it's crazy that it's a running back, it could have been any other player that something had happened to, but it's a running back. And it's unfortunate. He's a guy I play with, a friend of mine, love him,
Sure.
Love his family. You guys had Thomas Barber there as well, who's getting married on Marion's birthday, coming up June 10th. So when you think about Marion Barber, I mean, his picture's on the wall, his name's in the books. I mean, you got Daryl Thompson, Lawrence Maroney, Thomas Hamner, Marion Barber, and then Chris Darkins. I mean, and then again, Marion Barber again. So you got the names of names, right, on that wall for running backs. Mo Ibrahim, he's going to creep up there, and Rodney Smith. We've seen all the stuff these guys have done. But when you think about Marion Barber passing in your meeting room of running backs and you cultivating these young running backs, what does Marion Barber mean to the Gopher football program?
I think the Barber name is one that is, I mean, it's one of the biggest names in the Gopher football program. And, when I look at Marion, I always go back. We played kind of around the same time when I was at Indiana. And I never forget, we were playing, and I think it was 2003, it was him and Maroney, and they were coming to Bloomington. And the other running backs were in the running back room. We're like, the show's coming to town, guys. So just sit back and watch these two guys play. And then being here and being a part of kind of the tradition of running backs here, obviously he had a big part of it. He's one of the top 5 leading rushers of all time. I think he's second in total touchdowns, like 35 or something like that. And his imprint, I think the backs that come in here, he's one of the guys that they look up to. He's a guy that I use all the time. And not only him, but Maroney too, just two guys that kind of sacrifice for each other, and for their team to be to have success and be the best team they could possibly be. And he's a guy that I wasn't able to meet ever, but he's a guy that I constantly talk about his career here and what he did and how he did it, because he ran hard. As you played with them, and everyone you talked to said he was just a phenomenal person. And I think that we in the running back room, we talked about a little bit after his passing about just taking advantage of the opportunity that we have here. And, these are some, you never know what's going to happen in the future, but living in the moment, guys, and enjoying each other and the opportunity that you have to be a running back here under, like you said, some of the names, Cobb and Maroney and Barber and Dawkins. I mean, those are some great tailbacks. So for me, I'm just trying to keep the tradition going of great tailbacks, and we're going to make his memory, we're going to make it everlasting by keep getting better backs in here and guys that can live up to what he kind of created, that legacy.
Yeah, and the way you guys recruit running backs, man, it's been phenomenal. And you hit the nail on the head. Like Marion has 35, his dad is 34. So that alone, like I know as a son, you always want to surpass your dad, and he was able to do it by one. You look at Daryl Thompson, who's way out there with 40 touchdowns. But yeah, I'll never forget Marion. I think of like Michigan State. But he ran over a guy. I was blocking, so my back was to the play, but it was the loudest collision I had ever heard. And I look back, and Marion is standing straight up. DB or linebackers on the ground, and I look over and he's just smiling at me like, yeah, I did that. And that was kind of his like coming out day as a freshman, because we didn't know what we got in Marion Barber. We had Tellus Redmond. And then all of a sudden we're like, man, this is going to be a dual back system with Tellus and Marion as a true freshman out of Wyzetta slowly started taking plays from Tellus. But I'll never forget that. Like I remember that hit and him running the guy over and just smiling at me like, yeah, okay, I'm here. And like after that, like you said, Lawrence came to town, and Marion never, like the moment was never like it's all about me. He was always a team guy. He was willing to share. I mean, Marion could have had 2,000 yards a season. And same as Lawrence. They both could have been 2,000-yard backs, but they were willing to say, you know what, let's just go do something nobody's ever done before. We'll both get 1,100 yards, 1,400 yards here and there.